Good evening and welcome to Truth, Health, and Wellness. I'm Lacey Klontz and I am here with Matt and Deborah St. John. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
We're doing good.
Good. Had a good week?
Yes, it's been a very busy week, good week.
Yeah.
And we've had some good news today. We had it's been a kind of a stressful week. It's been really intense.
Okay.
But it's been a really good week, if that makes any sense. Because,
Good stress.
Because the stress keeps, it keeps working out and everything's
you
good.
alive.
That's right. And it keeps it does keep you alive.
Keeps you awake too. Jinx. Well, what all have you been seeing mostly this week?
People who are tired. That's one thing. I mean,
That is actually true.
Yeah.
I had someone come in today and they said, I'm just tired. Just point me to something. I'm just tired.
Well, and the problem with that, there are a lot of variables as to why someone's tired. We had someone today get very hypoglycemic. They were hungry, and that resulted in a lot of bad things. They got very sick. They ended up at the hospital.
How about dehydration? Because that happened to me this week. I got really bad dehydrated on accident. And
Well, it's not hard when it gets hot.
It happens fast.
yeah, for sure.
We noticed the other day, it's like we walk outside and it's like, boom, oh my goodness, are we in Iquitos, Peru? I mean, it's like 90 degrees outside, but that's when it starts. You have to be careful. And just like, once again, when we go down to the Amazon and everything, we make sure we actually carry electrolyte formulas. We carry things with us. And we'll go at night. We'll take 2 hours and leave our place down there, go through the village, delivering maybe like 3 solar systems, maybe like, and installing. By the time we get back, we're literally dehydrated, exhausted beyond any measure. We also learn to not talk a lot after we get back, after we do that, because there's something about that particular moment that you might just get yourself in an argument.
Exactly. Say something you'll regret later.
Possibly, if the other person can remember it because they're so exhausted. So yeah, but it's amazing though when we would sit down, we get back in the cabin, we'd sit down. I'd sit down in this wooden chair that I have, and I would take the electrolytes and drink some water and just sit there, and within seconds, from head to toe, you just feel those trace minerals and the sodium and everything just replenishing your body, and it makes a big difference. I mean, it really does.
It's like your life's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, and severe dehydration, it's very weird. Like, if you haven't really experienced it, because for me, I mean, delirium comes with that as well. Like, and things get fuzzy.
You'll start slurring your words.
Yes.
And if you start slurring your words and you haven't eaten, then it's definitely time to get, to address that, or to get some, obviously some water, get something to drink. And there's nothing better than water. Folks are trying their best to get to drink anything other than water. I know a lady who's like, I can't drink water unless I have Crystal Light in it. Oh, it's like, you can't drink water unless you have some cancer in it. It's crazy. So we need to learn how to drink water. And trust me, if you're thirsty, and if I know in the production room they're drinking water right now. There you go, good job. And so but it's very important to drink pure water. Of course, I don't know why we talk about water so much on this show. Lately, it seems like that's all we're doing is talking about water.
Important.
But it is super important.
Got it right here.
There you go. We won't test it this time.
You can go ahead.
Actually, we were impressed. We don't have the tester. Here's ours. And and look at that.
I just got one ups.
How many dents are in the bottom of this bottle? It is a little bit fancy. Okay, we talked about this before. Let's talk about it again. And production's like, stop it. This is called a Lark water filter. Lark water filter. He's taking another drink of his water. Lark. Okay. LARQ. See that big old thing down there? That is a water filter.
Is there enough room for water in there?
Yeah, really.
You
That's
would think,
what you wonder. And so, I just dumped water on the floor. So in here is water that we've gotten from wherever. And it's
the creek.
Maybe we'll just say the creek. We have used creek water from the Amazon in this. This has been the Amazon probably 3 or 4 times.
It when you.
We replaced these filters.
Okay.
We're on an auto ship. It's the only auto ship in the world that I'll be on is for these filters. We do not do auto ships. But anyway, they send us a couple of these filters or 1 or 2 of these filters. My gosh.
Water park.
Anyway, so we do that, and we keep them changed, especially before and after we go to the Amazon. But we carry this everywhere we go. And we go in a restaurant where the nerds that have the water bottle, they say, what would you like to drink? I say, water with no ice. And they say,
I think you've got alcohol in there.
I wonder sometimes if they think we're
that's what I say,
carrying
I'm
around
just
something.
drinking this. So we drink water. And the good thing about it is this particular filter filters out not only the bacteria and the viruses that most water filters filter out, like Brita's that you get at Walmart or something. But it also goes a lot heavier than that, and it filters out the glyphosate, it filters out the atrazine. They brought us paper towels. Thank you, sir. It gets the PFAs out, which if anyone local would take and just look up, do a Google search for PFA contamination in the state of Alabama map.
And it's bad.
It's bad,
We've looked at
and
it.
it's bad in particular in our region, in our area. Not that we don't have 4 Superfund sites within a 10-mile radius of right where we're sitting right now, but it's pretty bad, the water and the condition of the water. But you want to get the plastics, you want to get the chemicals out. So many of these filters only get out the viruses and the bacteria, which might be fine if you're down in the Amazon, but up here you need plastics and the fluoride and all the chlorine and everything else that's in it. One time we went to a restaurant, I won't name which restaurant, but it was here in Oxford, and we got some water, and we didn't have our water bottle. We took one sip of the water, and it tasted like pure chemicals. I mean, it tasted like we literally, it was
Like a swimming pool.
It was like dipping your head in a hot tub
Ew.
in Gatlinburg and taking a big drink of it.
And it burned.
Yeah.
Going down.
Like a hot tub in Gatlinburg.
I was like,
Yeah, and so we said something to them. They said, "Oh, well, the city of Oxford has had some sort of issue with their water, and there's too much chlorine in it." And I thought, well,
you need to filter your water.
what are we drinking then? You know, give me.
Oh
I mean,
my
you know,
goodness. I was going to say maybe just because you're used to the
right?
stuff
You would think that,
And
yeah, yeah,
that is
yeah.
the case too in some.
Occasionally, yeah.
some-
I've heard that with milk, that if you're used to organic milk and
Drink
you're
other
drinking
milk.
it for a month and then a month later you drink just normal non-organic milk, you taste chemicals.
I taste those hormones, but you do. I mean, you can taste. It's pretty scary. But the lark's really neat, and there's a couple of. There's one called a grail. We have one of those too, but you have to put a lot of pressure on it, and there's nothing like being in the middle of the jungle in a boat and in a hurry and needing to get out, and you're sitting there trying to squeeze a water bottle. So it's this one works really well. We normally carry 2 of them. So but it's a big aid to get water. But I'm talking about being tired all the time, though. We're back to that.
Oh, yeah.
You
We're
know,
go back to
staying
that.
hydrated is important. Having your electrolytes is important. Making sure that you have the right glucose level is important. That means actually eating as you're supposed
and eating
to.
quality,
Food.
protein.
Yeah, getting protein.
Organic.
Exactly. Eating organic as often as possible, but keeping the protein intake. If you keep your protein steady during the day, you're going to have more energy. You're going to have more recovery. You're going to sleep better. You're going to have more stability with your mind. You're going to feel more level the entire day. And that makes a huge difference for people when they start doing that day in and day out. So I'm a huge advocate of getting the right amount of protein and making sure that you keep your glycemic level, keep your blood sugar where it needs to be. That helps. And then there's herbs. They're what we call adaptogenic herbs. They help you adapt to stress. And people think these herbs, yeah, you think that these herbs, you've heard of ginseng.
Yes.
What is ginseng for? Let me ask you.
Cooking?
Well, no, you can cook with it, but ginseng is for energy, right? They put it in the energy
Never knew
formulas.
that.
Ginseng elixirs, ginseng tonics, ginseng this, ginseng that. And you think that ginseng is a stimulant that just boosts your energy. In fact, ginseng just helps reduce stress and helps your body adapt to stress. They call it an adaptogenic herb. If you help your body adapt to stress, what will you normally feel? More energy. So that's the reason these adaptogens work. There's an herb called maca. Maca is a really neat herb. It actually comes from Peru, and it's an adaptogenic herb. It's really known to help with females with their energy level and with their libido. So it's something, yeah, maca can be a big, what's funny is when we get the guys who come in for their wives for maca, and they're like, I'm going to get my wife this maca, wink, wink, and I'm like, well, lose 20 pounds too. That's another story, I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
But no, but the maca does help, and it helps men too. We have several formulas that are blends that have the maca along with other herbs that are adaptogens, and it helps boost energy and make you feel better.
A good multivitamin too that is green food based, not
I was going to say a lot of multivitamins they say are not.
Right, and that's
they're
because they're
not
full of
adding anything,
synthetics.
yeah.
They're full of synthetic. They're synthetic A, synthetic D, synthetic vitamin E. They'll have fillers or additives, and
Flintstones will even put.
Flintstones are carcinogenic.
Yeah.
I mean that's pretty scary to think that you have vitamins out there that they recommend for kids that are carcinogenic because they actually have known carcinogens within the constituency. But there are so many vitamins out there that are good though, that are whole food based. They're extracted from food. So it's more like taking a green food supplement really than it is taking a multivitamin.
It's like shoving a bunch of green beans in a capsule and swallowing it, kind of.
One
And
capsule
carrots and
with
other
120 green beans.
Really?
But maybe not
Kind of,
120, but a few. And so it's these green foods normally have nutrients and trace minerals and things that we don't have. So let's say that there's a trace mineral like selenium, for example, that selenium is really important for your immune system. But let's say that someone's deficient in selenium in particular, right? And so all of a sudden, somebody prescribes, say, you need to start eating some walnuts. And the person says, walnuts, okay, whatever. So they start eating walnuts. Well, all of a sudden, they eat the walnuts, they get the selenium that they've been deficient in, and suddenly they feel amazing, right? So what do they say? Walnuts give me energy.
Interesting.
No, walnuts don't really give you energy. They just made up for the deficiency that you had that caused the, some of the lowered immune function and some of the weakness that you had from not having enough selenium. It's all a matter of getting the nutrients that we need to live. And some people throw off those nutrients and leach those nutrients and expel those nutrients faster than others. Some people are way more active than other people. Some people have, urinary tract problems or, some kind of issue where they don't absorb as well, or they don't eliminate as well, or they have so there are a lot of factors that from person to person that dictate how well they absorb nutrients and which nutrients they might need. And so that's one of the things we do at St. John's. We try to assess what people need. It's not that, say beta carotene or vitamin E or vitamin D3 is a miracle. But so many people, for example, with vitamin D3 are deficient in vitamin D3 that when COVID came out, the first thing they recommended, even Dr. Fauci, the murderer, he said, he said that he took vitamin D3. Yeah, Fauci does. He takes 10,000 IUs a day.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you have to dig to find that now, but I heard him say it himself. And so 10,000 IUs a day, well, why does Fauci take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D per day? Well, obviously because he feels like he needs it. And because the majority of Americans, for some reason lately, seem to be deficient. And the higher the cancer rate, the more incidence of cancer, the more likely the individual is in being deficient in vitamin D3. In other words, they look across the board and they say, okay, cancer's here. Well, the vitamin D3 deficiency is here. People who have enough D3 tend to not have cancer. So if that is the, that's what
scary because that's so common, I feel like,
Absolutely.
being deficient in that. Yeah.
Well, that's what makes people, even like Dr. Fauci, it makes people that are even not even believers in supplementation go ahead and take it. That goes back to sometimes, if your physician doesn't believe in St. John's Nutrition, I rest assured their spouse does. And if so, they're not recommending coming in our front door, their wife's coming in our back door, or husband. So that's been a common thing since we've been around for 30 years. We've had people who literally are secretly dealing with us and trading with us. Yeah, I'll never tell.
Now I'm even more curious.
I won't tell.
I know you won't. Well, I want to go back to the, what was it, the ginseng and maca?
Ginseng
that
and
are
maca.
good for energy. So would you say that's almost like a natural Adderall for people who need Adderall?
I would call it, no, I wouldn't call it a natural Adderall. Adderall's interesting because, Adderall is one of those medications that can go either way. It can make it'll calm some people down, it'll fire some people up.
Depends on which version you have, ADD or ADHD.
Well, the other thing with Adderall is that it's really playing around with your serotonin and dopamine levels.
Yes.
And so you're dealing with something that's drug-like. Now, when you're dealing with, there are of course herbs that can help with serotonin levels. We have things like St. John's wort, kava kava. Those tend to be things that are used more often to reduce stress, to help with stress problems. And with Adderall, that certainly, that can cause a lot of stress for the wrong person if they were to take it. Whereas if you give any human over the age of, we'll say 3 years old, maca and ginseng, you're not going to find either one or both, even in combination, having people bouncing off the walls. You're not going to find it causing people to be so calm they're falling out, sleep. It's something that works with the body. It helps your body once again adapt to stress, and being an adaptogen means that it just helps you. Helps it all work better.
Wow, that's awesome. There you go. Well, hey, we are going to take a short break, but we will be right back. Stay tuned.
You may not believe it, but it's true. The 2024 Team 1 Chevys are here. All 2324 Silverado light duties have 2.9% financing for 72 months. The hottest new 2024 Team 1 Chevy Blazer, 1.9% financing and no payments till April. And the #1 selling family vehicle, the Equinox. 24 models. You got it. 1.9% financing and no payments till April. Team 1 Chevrolet, home of the best people, the best service, period.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest-growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands, including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gaston or Oxford.
Welcome back to Truth, Health, and Wellness. Now, if you are watching us on Facebook, please chime in and comment your questions, and Dr. Matt and Deborah St. John will be very happy to answer. Now, what were we talking about?
Answering questions. We were talking about
like
MACA,
adaptogens
adaptogens,
and-
stress, energy levels.
Stress.
And how-
ADHD and stuff too.
Well, yeah, we went over to ADHD. You know, focus is a big problem.
Or
Focus
ADD,
and clarity
yeah.
of thought. And so much of our focus and our clarity of thought has to do with our nutrition level and where we are with our pancreas and where we are with our blood sugar. Okay, so if we have that normalized and if we're eating like we're supposed to, there still seems to be a lot of problem because after COVID, we had COVID brain fog. After the vaccines, we had COVID vaccine brain fog, and then we have people who have had this long COVID that have continued to just deal with these issues with brain fog, and then because of the phrase brain fog being attributed to COVID, we now have a whole new basically health crisis called brain fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then people come in literally saying, I have brain fog. It's kind of cool because, I don't know, 3 years ago, we developed a product called Brain Fog.
Yeah.
And that was because people were having COVID brain fog. And so and this was mainly designed to help with the inflammation of the cerebrospinal fluid, and that ends up going up to the brain, and helping to reduce that using things like tamarind extract and rosemary terpenes and turmeric oil, and really neat combination. But what we found is that people who had never had COVID or didn't have a problem with COVID, all you typos out there who never got COVID, here's to you. Yeah, congratulations on that. And in the production room,
thumbs up.
thumbs up. And
Good
so,
job.
so it's a good thing, and yeah, good job being born. And so but those that didn't even deal with COVID are still coming back and saying, I have this brain fog, this issue. And so, and we have some testimonials about this stuff. We have one testimonial that is like mind blowing. It's someone who is very high up with a government agency, we'll just say, and they had some severe injuries due to shots, we'll say, and due to those injuries that they had from the shots per se, they had some severe neurological problems. They had lost almost 100 pounds, and they were having seizures, they were having tremors, they were having severe tremors. They were,
Wow.
It was bad, and we watched. It took like 2 years, and of course I was constantly harassing this individual to make sure. Okay, well, are you taking your stuff? Are you taking your stuff? Well, you need to start taking your stuff. And so I was constantly pushing. Well, it was the brain fog in particular that this individual kept taking, and I think we even gave this testimonial not too long ago, but it was just amazing to see their turnaround. And when the individual came in, David, who was there, he called me, and he was weeping a little bit, and I'm like, is everything okay? And we're criers around there, mainly the guys. The women are mean as rattlesnakes, but the guys at St. John's Nutrition will cry on you. And
That's awesome, though.
I'm just kidding, but anyway,
That's rare.
so he calls me and he's choked up, and I'm like, what's going on? He says, sorry, David, for throwing you under the bus about getting choked up. He said, I'm just, he kind of calmed himself down. He said the person's name, and I said, well, I'm like upset because I'm thinking this person like died.
Yeah.
And so he said, no. He said, it's amazing. They've had almost a complete reversal and complete turnaround. And once again, and this has been 2 years that we've been dealing with. The individual having so much as far as tremors and everything that they were losing so much weight that they were afraid they were going to lose him just to caloric restrictions. In other words, just to die from malnutrition and from just burning so many calories per day. They said he was burning at least 6,000 calories a day. And so, long story short, they're fine. They're doing incredible. And brain fog was the main thing that they took. And we take brain fog and we joke around. We've joked around about being A1 steak sauce before because tamarind is something that's in A1. But tamarind's a really, really neat. It comes from a pod. It's a paste that they get from the pods, from the seeds of this particular plant. And they use it they use it in Latin America, but they also use it in India. Culinary, and it's an amazing spice. Has tons of research clinically for being therapeutic, yet no one's ever really used it. So we're happy to use it at St. John's.
I'm gonna go home and drink a bottle of A1 or something.
Yeah, there's also these Latin markets. They have something called fruit waters or aqua frescas, and they have a tamarind. Well, they'll call it tamarindo. Tamarindo aqua fresca.
Sounds so good.
Yeah, it is good. There's a lot of sugar, so be a little careful. Make sure in your head you understand you're drinking like probably 40, 50 grams of sugar in one big thing of it, but you're getting a ton of concentrated tamarind. And every time you drink one of those things, you talk about feeling like sharp as a razor.
Where do you get those?
Actually, in I hope, are they open? Is that place open?
So sometimes.
Over on Snow Street, the Latin Markets, it has to be the only one on this side of Snow Street, not downtown, but the Quintard Mall side of Snow Street. There's a Latin market there, and tell them we sent you. Tell them, but they have strange hours. But anyway, they have it there, and it's pretty good. Normally.
I think I'm going to have to.
Tamarindo aqua fresca.
That's good.
That's what you
Oh,
say.
it sounds so fun.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah.
different from a regular Fresca drink. You remember those?
Fresca.
Fresca, the canned soft drink.
Yeah,
And
very
it was like a Sprite with.
Kind
I
of, but
don't
it was
know.
a diet. You can't tell it's diet, but yeah.
I remember those.
They're
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, they were. I don't even think they make them anymore.
Oh,
But if
yeah,
they were a diet drink,
I have them at home.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why talk about those diet drinks? Okay.
No.
Not on the air, at
Don't
least.
get me in trouble. Well, let's talk about. Okay, so we've been talking about alertness and focus. So opposite of that, what are some good
Ways to be
Ways to-
exhausted and dead.
we can talk about that.
Go ahead.
Sure.
No, wait. What are some ways? I'm sorry.
Sleep,
Ways to be. Okay. That is the opposite.
which is kind of like being dead if you think about it.
Well, okay.
Pretty close.
Let's not get you that far over the other side. But yeah,
Not yet, at least.
You know what's cool? There are so many things. God knew that we were going to be stressed out and have sleep problems. And a lot of people have sleep problems. A lot of people have sleep problems because of how mean they are and how they treat people. But that wouldn't be you, of course. I'm just kidding. People do have a lot of sleep problems, and it's not due to that. It's due mainly because, for one thing, our blood sugar isn't really right during the day. A lot of people wake up and they skip breakfast. Okay, then they go on toward lunch, and then they eat lunch, but they're normally in a hurry. Then they get home and they're hungry at that point, and that's when you really throw down. You have the big meat and 3, and then you maybe having some chips afterwards, and then about 10 o'clock you have some popcorn, and maybe there might be something in the fridge yummy, and you might just grab it too.
You are
And-
describing my life.
Right. Well, so then you're eating the bulk of your
You're not the
calories
only one.
at the exact wrong time.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, don't apologize to me. Apologize to your body. Anyway, just
Sorry.
sorry me.
Sorry, me.
But for real, if your blood sugar during the day is all janky, and you're having these crashes, especially between 1 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you just get tired. But then you eat and you feel better, and then you get home and you're bored, and then you kind of I call it jokingly the Baptist, but every denomination is pertinent. But the Baptist drug is food. You can't drink, you
Amen.
can't do drugs, but my gosh, you can eat some sweet potato casserole at 10:30 at night. And once again, we're Baptist, so I'm not making fun of Baptists. We'll start making fun of Methodists, even though actually they've had a lot on them lately, so we won't do that. So we can tell that you're about to go to bed. Now you've shot your insulin level through the roof, right? You can't sleep for anything because you just got through having the bulk of your calories late in the day. And so now, you're just absolutely in a mess because you can't turn it off. And then, what are you going to do? You stay up. And sometimes people even eat all into sleep. Now, having a little bit of starchy carbohydrates right before you go to bed can give you a temporary little boost of serotonin. But I'm talking about like having a new potato or two with some butter, like little potatoes or something like that. I'm not talking about having a, an entire bowl of popcorn. So those carbs that you have late can cause a lot of those problems with sleep, but not getting enough protein during the day. What is tryptophan, L-tryptophan?
Oh, that's an amino acid.
Boom.
I watched a Dr. Phil about that.
So that's cool. You never knew Dr. Phil would pay off. So tryptophan is an amino acid that's found predominantly in obviously it's from protein,
From your diet,
but
yeah.
it's found in turkey. It's found in milk. If you warm milk, you activate the tryptophan amino acid.
That's
Yep.
why warm milk makes you sleepy.
Kaboom! That's right.
My
Yes.
grandma would make me that when I was a kid.
And she knew it. She might not have known why, but she knew
She
that
knew
it
what
worked.
she was doing,
Yep. And I wish we'd listened to grandparents more.
We
so,
really should.
God rest Tommy Bass, and every elderly person I've ever sat and listened to has blessed me so much. It's
Yeah.
an important. I mean, it's like one of the most important parts of my life. 3 or 4 different elderly men and women that have been in my life have just changed everything for us. But so getting that balance that you need before you go to bed can make all the difference in the world. Now there are herbs. There's valerian root, smells like socks. There's passion flower, it's beautiful. There's skullcap. There's hops.
Skull what?
Skullcap. It's because of how the plant looks, not because it's
You
cat's
said-
claw.
I thought you said skull cat.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what?
Well, there is cat's claw. That's a
Oh,
plant that grows in Peru.
okay.
And so it doesn't have cat's claw, but it looks like a cat's claw. That's the reason they call it that. Una de gato is what they call it there. So yeah, these particular plants, not cat's claw, but all the others we've mentioned, are known to be used in these formulas for sleep a lot, and they work really well. CBD is being used a lot for sleep. Delta 9 is being used for sleep. Those are the kind of things that'll just that'll really knock you out, and they'll get you
And you have those.
Oh yeah, we
at
have
your
those.
clinic.
We
We have those.
just got a new line actually of some
Delta
stuff.
products, of hemp products.
Today.
We have a complete new
So,
line. We've
come on down and check
the
it
owner
out.
of the company. They're out in Coleman. He came in and we sat and had a really good discussion. We sat and talked about cannabis for 2 hours. That's an interesting topic to talk about for 2 hours. And
Let's talk about it for 2 minutes.
okay, go.
You go.
Well, cannabinoids are something that we were joking before the show.
We
we were actually talking about this topic. Cannabinoids come in many different forms. Basically, you have cannabis, right?
And we all have a system for it.
Right. This is-
Designed by God.
It's called an endocannabinoid system. Do you know that you have an endocannabinoid system?
No,
I
but
have
that
an
makes me
endocannabinoid
feel so
system.
special.
All God's creatures have endocannabinoid systems, and think about what works and helps this cannabinoid system. Cannabinoids. And so cannabis, of course, has been illegal for a long time in a lot of different ways. Here. But at the same time, there's different forms of cannabis. First, you have marijuana. So let's say cannabis is here, marijuana's here. What's over here? Hemp.
Yeah, okay.
Marijuana, the shrubs grow short. They have a lot of buds. It's very illegal. It'll get you arrested in the state of Alabama, and you'll go to jail if you have it, use it, or anything else. There is a marijuana bill that was passed. It's one of the worst marijuana bills in the country. It's terrible, and I don't know that there'll ever be a dispensary in Alabama that'll be worth the flip. I wouldn't actually advise going to any of them anyway, because now we have hemp. Once again, what's beside marijuana over here? Hemp. Hemp is not marijuana. Hemp is cannabis. Marijuana is cannabis. Hemp, however, grows tall. They use it mainly in industrial situations. They use it for textiles, but it also has buds, but it's high in CBD rather than THC. You can get THC from hemp. That's where the Delta 9 products come. They derive it from hemp, which makes it legal because of the Farm Bill, which was passed. Trump signed it, and it was a done deal. Alabama, it's all done, state and everything else.
So Delta 9 won't get anybody in trouble.
Delta 9 derived from hemp. It's under 3% total volume of what's in it. You have to be careful. You have to be mindful. Don't buy it from a gas station. Don't buy it from some vape shop, or you're going to be up a creek. But that's the reason we try to help people with that.
Yeah, helping them. So it looks like that is just about all the time that we have. So it was so good to see you all. And
Awesome.
we will be here next week, we think.
Yeah, that's what we're here. We heard
might
that.
have a surprise.
Yeah, we
We
might have a
might.
surprise next week. Her name might be Cookie, but that's another story.
And she has a really cute haircut that you all will just love.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us here on Truth, Health, and Wellness with Matt and Deborah St. John. Have a great evening.